everything away. They are up 3-1 in this series largely because they've taken Denver, who was 5th in the league in points in the paint, and held them 13 below their average. But that means you're going to give up some threes.
It's Tony Bradley, the 22-year-old third-year man out of North Carolina. That's his number called by Quinn Snyder early in the second quarter. And he's given the Jazz a 1-point lead. Mason Plumlee is checked in first time tonight. Hands off to Murray, and this will be a reach-in foul against Clarkson. What a crazy series this has been. Overtime win for Denver in the opener. But since then, 3 straight victories for Utah as Michael Porter Jr. bangs in a 3.
He has already emerged as one of the better shooters in the NBA. But he got off to a great start in this series. He averaged over 20 a game in the first 2 games.
Respect from any player, let alone a kid who's as young as he is and was on the shelf for really basically those 2 years with the back injury. They need more from him defensively. As Conley taking on contact, soft touch.
Well, that's one of the things with Michael Porter Jr. The Jazz have really targeted him at that end of the floor. They've gone at him because defense is still a problem. It actually helps him that he gets to guard people in the second unit rather than frontline players.
Murray off balance, tough shot, and the rebound weak side taken by Niang. Here comes Clarkson up the floor just past the 10-minute mark. Boy, Bradley was wide open, kicks out instead to Conley. And the rebound weak side is pulled by Plumlee. So Utah started the game 4 of 4 from deep, but they've missed 8 of their last 11. This will be a loose ball foul. Jamal Murray takes a seat. Can't imagine for very long for Denver. Quiet scoring start for him, just 3 points. Here's Niang, getting some pretty good looks in close.
Niang's been good in this series. He's given him a good lip. A guy who really knows how to play, has developed his body and gotten in better shape. Tough guy, good competitor.
Here's Plumlee. Beautiful pass, dropping a dime inside. That's P.J. Dozier. Did not play in Game 4. Coach's decision by Michael Malone. And a big bucket here off a terrific feed. Clarkson to the rack. As we approach the 8-minute mark, first half here in Orlando. Ingles sizes him up. Here comes Clarkson. Extends. Blocked by Plumlee. Jazz bench calling for a goaltend. Dozier all the way to the cup.
Bradley, but then Plumlee returns a favor at the other end.
Malone earlier today said he's actually been keeping a journal for the first time in his life. Today, told us it was day 50. Decided to do it once the league announced that it would restart its season, to kind of get his thoughts down on paper, Coach, knowing that this was going to be something completely unprecedented. It's going to be a whole chapter in that journal today about Nikola Jokic. Clarkson! Another 3-point jack.
And he talked about how it's been a very difficult balance here in Orlando, focusing on games versus the injustices that continue happening throughout the country.
Just seemed endless.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's not isolated instances. It's systemic, and the system needs to change. If we keep treating these as isolated incidents, nothing is going to change.
So we hit the 6-minute mark. Here is Jeremy Grant stepping middle, elevates and puts it down. Good looking offensive maneuver by Jeremy Grant. 19 points in game 1, just 26 combined for Grant over the last 3.
Well, Denver is so big. We're so used to teams playing small now as Donovan Mitchell hits a pull-up. Denver right now has a point guard, a center, and essentially 3 power forwards on the floor, something we just don't see very often, so they're trying to take advantage of their size inside.
Morris, the bounce inside, gets it to Millsap on the box, and the rebound taken by Clarkson. So Nikola Jokic back onto the floor for Denver, 21 in the first quarter. Mitchell the drive and kick to Clarkson, gets another 3. And Utah's lead now.
He was a scorer, but he was more of just a mid-range guy. He's progressively gotten better, shooting more and more threes.
think of all the offense that they lost when Bojan Bogdanovic went down with that wrist injury. Eventually had to have surgery, ending his season hurt initially in January as Clarkson continues to fill it up.
1 point from anywhere else.
So this Denver team that entered the season with such high hopes, trying to keep their season alive in a 3-1 series hole. Jokic. So he hits his first 8 shots to begin the game, and he's missed his last 2 here since coming on in the second quarter. 21 points for Jokic if you've just joined us. Denver in an 8-point hole as we approach the final 4 minutes before halftime. Mitchell. The 51 points in game 4 so far, 8 tonight. Murray, transition 3 won't go.
But on that one, he just didn't have time to get there and ends up with an illegal screen.
This is Michael Porter Jr. Corner 3, got it. Nuggets desperately needed that shot, and it ends an 8-0 Utah run.
There are not many better shooters in this league, particularly at his size. If he can just get to being a little better defensively, this guy's got a tremendous future.
Mitchell around a screen, hounded by Murray, takes some contact, and he's headed to the free throw line. Into the game with 3:14 to play, second quarter. And Denver trying to get their offense back in gear. Jokic on a 3, too much. Porter had a hand on it, then Millsap saves. Nicely done. Here comes Murray, slicing his way through the defense.
Well, Utah is so small, and they want to play Royce O'Neal on Jamal Murray, and that puts the guards, Conley and Mitchell, on essentially power forwards, Michael Porter Jr. and Jeremy Grant, giving away a lot of size.
Ingles on a 3. So Joe Ingles, who was nowhere to be found last couple of games, they didn't need him with the play of Conley making a huge offensive contribution tonight. Charge to Millsap. Denver does have one more foul to give here. 2:20 to play. Ingles has had the hot hand, 11 points, the drive and kick. This is O'Neal. Back of the rim. What a play by Gobert to tap it and save. And look at Conley. Shot clock resets to 14. We come up on 2 to play in the half. Gobert puts it on the deck. Spins. Unable to hit with his left hand. Tough shot, Jokic. Nearly traveled with it. Now to Murray. Murray probing the defense into the corner. Checked by O'Neal. Murray. A pass. Jokic. Murray is there, takes it back and cleans up the mess.
Is very, very good both ways right now.
Mitchell. Pretty step back, couldn't hit. Tapped out again by Gobert. Conley up top. And Gobert coming down hard.
Well, the Utah guards know when they drive the ball, if the big steps up to help like Jokic just did, they just throw the ball to the rim.
Here's Monte Morris. Intercepted by Ingles. No one home. Mitchell. Good effort by Porter, but just couldn't get there. Too much. Which of us are fighters and who wants to go home? What kind of fight does this Denver team have down the stretch? Jokic. 5 to shoot. Little fadeaway jumper splash. Wow.
Let me tell you how hard that is. Right-handers, if they're going to shoot off 1 foot, want it to be off the left foot. That's your better balance. He just shot that 1 foot step back off of his right foot.
He had 21 in the first quarter. Those were his first points here in the second. Final 10 seconds. About 5-second difference. Shot to game clock. Conley. That's a long fake 2 and then Gobert.
For the reverse announcer jinx. I talked about his struggles at the line. He makes 2.
Final 3 seconds. Here comes Murray. Utah out of fouls. Murray at the horn. Missed it, but he is fouled. Murray able to draw